So, if you look at AAA gaming, beautiful women are the most marginalized and unrepresented segment of the market. That's how Grummz feel. I disagree. Without belittling someone's opinion, I think it's a kind of a little absurd. I think if you take all the examples of, okay, I think if you had a game where you said, okay, I'm going to name a video game character in a AAA space, and for every pretty or beautiful one, I'm going to give you an ugly one, right? I think the quote-unquote ugly one would probably lose, right? I think you would be able to find more examples of objectively beautiful women more than anything. And although he didn't use the word ugly, I've seen other videos on like ugly girls and gaming and stuff like that. It's just a thing. Like people use Aloy as an example. That Fable 4 trailer was a Fable 4 trailer. They used that girl as an example. And I guess personally, like I think this is one of those little things that kind of annoy me a little bit. Specifically because, like, all right, I like seeing different things, and just like all things that I do, movies, video games, or whatever. So I mentioned this in another video before. Like when I create a character, unless I'm making someone look like myself or what I seem like in my head, I tend to go what's a little different. You know, like you won't probably find that person in a video game. At least that's the goal, for the most part. And it has nothing to do like I want them to look ugly, pretty, whatever like that. I just like seeing stuff that are different, right? Like for instance, as a villain, Lady Dimitrescu, I think is just looks awesome. I mean, personally, on a personal level, I think she's hot. But the fact that she's like 1,000,000 feet tall and just whatever this case may be, like it was cool seeing her. Now that was like, oh no, she's too hot, for my liking, you know. No, it was just the fact that she kind of looked different. And then if you look at the thumbnail, that's the tweet he had made, and I think kind of like there's some tells that's just not a good argument. Like I almost kind of think it's a troll, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if this person really believes that. He's definitely fighting the argument, though, it seems like. And well, first I want to say that it's like I don't agree when people took pictures of him as an example, like this is the guy who's telling you video game people are not hot enough. I don't agree with that. I think that's just like mean-spirited. Now, granted, it's also mean-spirited in my opinion. Like what I don't like was that he used 3 examples of Deborah Messing in that thing, who's like a real actress. But at the same time, I don't believe two wrongs make a right type of deal. Like that's just me on a personal level. But anyway, I don't think that has anything to do with anything like that. But yeah, and also if you look at the thumbnail, right? I'm gonna see if I can zoom that up. You'll notice, okay, other than 3 different portrayals of Deborah Messing, is it her name, right? Deborah Messing. It's kind of like a stretch, right? Because I think someone else said that one of the pictures, I think from Prey in particular, was not even used in a game, or just purposely using like bad angles and stuff like that. But I understand okay. And in the other video I discussed about wokeness in video games, right? So I think this is one of those casualties that the bigger issue with big companies using wokeness in video games, where it's kind of turned off like a bunch of people. I don't know what the minority of like how many people are upset by that, but it definitely goes down to that distrust, right? Because you believe that, oh, they're just doing this for this reason. And yeah, I don't know, dude. Just like, do you really just want the same hot girl in all the video games? I mean, maybe not to that extreme, but like, I think saying that they're making video game characters uglier, like for instance, Aloy, like I personally don't even think she's ugly, you know, and also he used how do I pronounce her name? I played the Outer Worlds. I mentioned that a bunch of times, right? But he also used Nayoka as an example, and me personally, like I don't know. How, I mean, personally, I find her. I mean, these are all video game characters, but I personally find her attractive. So, yeah, I don't know where this fight even exists, or why people, well, anybody would be upset with this. Like, just they want the same typical female, just, you know, maybe different hair colors. I mean, there's just still a bunch. They're still making those. Like, you look at Baldur's Gate, and all the women are there, like, super attractive. Even, they've somehow even made, like, a Geshyeki, oh my god, I'm gonna massacre that word, right? Seem hot, you know? At least that's my opinion, I guess. Like, just something about her. Maybe it's just her, like, you know what I mean? That stuff. Karlak, too, I'm just gonna simp over. I won't be the only person simping over Baldur's Gate characters. So I don't know. I think the whole thing's kind of just silly. There are better arguments to be made, but I do think that people will jump to those conclusions because of that mistrust that we talked about before. I do think that okay. So there was a controversy. I don't know if it's like real controversy, but I remember there was a big thing. Not even a big thing, where they made a mod to make Shadowheart look more attractive, and they got banned for making that mod. Well, they got rid of that. As far as I remember, they got rid of that mod in general, like that you couldn't download it on that website, whatever. And I remember, like, when I heard about the mod in general to make Shadowheart pretty or whatever, I definitely felt like an eye roll, like, oh Jesus, you know. But at the same time, I think it was stupid to, like, ban them in the first place, ban that mod, because, you know, if they're putting in a mod, let them play with the way they want to, you know. And a very separate issue, and a video I want to talk about in the future, is like difficulty in video games. And I do believe that people should play the way they want to. The more accessibility, the better. But I've been watching videos to, like, go against that opinion. But I also think that that's what this is too. You know, that's part of the same thing. I mean, not in terms of difficulty, but the fact that they're going to change the game. So what? Just let them do it. You know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from. Like the desire to see one type. I hear the, like, oh, I need to escape. I need to, you know, video games are supposed to be escape for this and escape for that, and I want to see this and I want to see that. And I don't know, like, am I wrong to think that's just a little selfish, as if, like, your opinion is the only one that matters? I'm sure, I know there's a lot of people who feel like that with you, but then there's also a lot of people who feel like me too. Like I said, I was looking at the top 10 female characters in of 2023, and I'm gonna put that up here somehow. Let's see, where is this article? Oh boy, I lost it. Okay, well, everyone in that list I personally thought was really attractive. I'm gonna exclude Zelda because she looks like a child. I mean, apparently she's what, like, I didn't beat Tears of Kingdoms. It goes from 17 to 100 to 7 years in between, 10,000 years of I'm not touching that. I'm not including her. All right, it's just out of the list. Just also, in that screenshot that he put, like in that tweet, you know, one of them was a child. You know what I mean? And it's a video game child, but like, dude, you know, like, I just don't. So you want the child to, like, I'm just saying it's in poor taste, right? I'm not accusing him of, like, being, like, I'm not accusing him like the way other people accuse him. I'm just saying that is definitely in poor taste, because, like, what are you saying? That the child wasn't attractive enough? You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of silly, you know, a little weird just to include that. But I think that it was a stretch, though. Like, if you look at the video, like, he was just trying to find specifically to fit this narrative. And so he had to use an actress 3 times, the same actress 3 times, a child, and I just don't know. Like I said, like I don't. If that's too much of a stretch that you need to do, then like maybe you don't really have that much of an argument. I mean, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion, dude. But I personally don't see the reasoning for like the outrage. I don't agree with his tweet. I think it's a good thing when you have people looking very different. I'm not saying that they all have to quote unquote be ugly or whatever like that, or just because, first of all, like ugliness or whatever, like beauty in general is just all subjective. You know what I mean? You could say there's a standard, the ones in the magazines and this and that, but like, is that really how should we look at society? I mean, I know that's how it is, so maybe that's where your point is. I don't know. I just think there are better arguments to be made, and this is not the hill I would die on, for sure. So, I think that's it. I think that's just what I want to say. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.